Hello, my name is Ben. I work with the Jefferson County Health Department. We have a few more questions for you again that we're going to answer. Just a quick reminder, if you have any questions that you would possibly like to see answered in a video like this, go ahead and send them to the email listed below. Now we have just a few quick messages before we answer the questions. The first is going to be around something you've probably already seen. Our statewide Wisconsin Safer at Home order has been extended until May 26th. This is going to look relatively the same as we've seen so far. There are going to be a few minor changes. That's going to be around public libraries. There's some changes to golf courses, non-essential businesses, and their minimum basic operations. Arts and crafts stores are going to be affected. If you'd like to read more and learn more about this, you can go ahead and follow the link above about that. And lastly, before we answer the questions, just wanted to remind everyone that Jefferson County, as of yesterday, had 24 confirmed cases. We understand that may seem like a relatively smaller amount compared to some of our neighboring counties, but we do want to remind everyone that that is most likely only accounting for 20, maybe as low as 10% of the actual cases that we have in Wisconsin. Just because of how many people are asymptomatic or have cases that haven't been tested. So just for the health and well-being of you, your loved ones, and those around you, it is best to just assume that there is community spread throughout Wisconsin and act appropriately. So on to our questions. Our first one is, one of my employees just returned from a month-long vacation in Florida. Do they need to self-quarantine, or can they return to work right upon arrival? After travel outside of Wisconsin, it is recommended that those individuals complete 14 days of self-quarantine. So once they came back, they would want to initiate self-quarantine for a period of 2 weeks. Now, our second question is, my church is planning on having a parking lot service. No one will be getting out of the car, and the service will be transmitted over the radio. Is this allowable under the Safer at Home order? So under the governor's orders, churches and religious entities are considered essential. Now, they do still have to abide by that any gatherings must include fewer than 10 people at a time in any room or confined space. So there are some ways that churches have gotten creative in regard to these restrictions. One of those, as the question alluded to, is parking lot services in that ways. So this is possible. There are going to be a few things to kind of abide by that social distancing. And so the congregants, of course, are going to need to stay in their cars with their windows rolled up. There can't be any person-to-person contact. So there can't be anybody going around or distributing pamphlets. Neither can there be passing of the basket. There are some local churches that have found that they're able to have kind of a digital version of passing the basket around with their mobile devices. So that's definitely something to look into as well. So this is definitely possible as long as you're doing it in the right way. Of course, there are other ideas. A lot of churches have been streaming online, and of course having much smaller gatherings, fewer than 10 people in each room would be allowed. Now we have one more question, and this is in regards to our warm weather coming up. They're wondering if mosquitoes can transmit COVID-19. This is a great question. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest that mosquitoes could transmit this novel coronavirus. COVID-19 is transmitted by droplets generated when someone coughs, sneezes, or produces other secretions. Because not everyone who is symptomatic is contagious, it is of course still important to wash your hands with soap and water, continue to practice that good social distancing. Regardless, even though we see no evidence that mosquitoes are transmitting this virus, it is of course important to protect yourself from mosquitoes as you normally would as we come into the warmer months coming up. So that's all we have for you today. Once again, send any questions that you have to that email below, and have a great rest of your day.